Hey, welcome to another exciting episode of Building My TARDIS Console. I know that maybe some of you are wondering when the heck am I actually going to sit down and build this thing and not just talk about each panel and finding parts. But until that happens, which will happen probably in the next couple of weeks, there'll be some more videos or some new videos of that actual process of, you know, taking those things that we talked about in the previous first couple of videos of finding dimensions and working those out, and then pulling that into the actual physical wood and putting that together. It's going to be a few weeks even with that, so that'll be interconnected in the next couple weeks for sure. But for now, let's just continue on seeing some things of the next panels as we go through, because each one we're going to have to basically do a study on each panel and what I need to do with it, what I need to find before I even sit down to actually putting it in. The plan is the actual TARDIS console that I'm going to get built will just be blank, and then I'll just continue going across and finding parts and adding them as they come in and everything like that. So once that's done, it will be sitting here in the room, and hopefully you'll see it then. But anyway, I also want to mention that since last week, I got myself a Smith's key. I've won it on eBay UK, and I shipped it to a friend of mine there who is going to assemble or take a bunch of things that I've been winning, throw them in a box, send it to me to save shipping. I don't have to just pay shipping 18 times and just pay one big bulk, especially since many of the parts are kind of small. But anyway, so let's just talk about the next panel. One of my favorite panels actually on this entire thing, and that is the Helm Panel. So the Helm Panel has a number of parts actually. And you may think, oh, it looks pretty simple and whatnot. And yeah, it doesn't have as many parts as some of the other panels we're going to talk about in the future for sure. And this one, hopefully, we're going to find a number of pieces that are found. However, a couple of them, right off the bat, custom machined by Nick Roboto, and that is the actual throttle control and the secondary throttle control. These two that you're seeing here on the screen, both of them completely 100% custom made out of brass, steel, or aluminum, and whatever else he has lying around. And they're completely designed, spec'd out, and then machined for the console. So I will be doing the exact same thing. I'm going to get them 3D modeled, figure out what I need to do, and then actually, since I am scaling everything down, I have to scale it down just slightly and then to go from there. So those parts I'm not too concerned about. They look actually fairly simple, and I can't wait to actually reproduce them. I know they're kind of the crux of the whole TARDIS as it is, so you can grab that, pull it down, and then ta-da! So I'm looking forward to that. Everything else, though, is pretty much found parts. And there's a number of things, I don't even know what they are. So starting here, we're just going to kind of go clockwise, I think, in this regard. So we're going to start off by the handbrake / lever at the bottom left. And there are 4 lights. Now, those 4 lights, actually, sorry, before that, there are a number of metal diode lights. And they totally look custom made. If they aren't custom made, I would be very shocked, but they definitely look kind of lathe. So once you get past that, though, there's 4 lights that look like they're in some sort of casing, which again, look custom made to me. As you look at some of these close-ups, I think they just had the lens covers that they have, and they just went with those, and then they just, cover them up to give it a bulkier appearance. I'm hoping I can find something similar. If not, I will get some things custom made, or at least custom made from a different material and just paint them silver. I have no problem with that. However, right up from that, I found a couple pictures, and it's kind of hard to see. In this part, I haven't identified at all. It's got a blue plate and 2 little switches on it. And looking at it, it definitely looks to me like forklift or some sort of lift control piece from some sort of lift. Now, again, most of these parts come from Britain. So if you're from Britain and you recognize this part, excellent. Let me know, please, in the comments below. But that's all it looks like to me. So again, it's something that if I can find it, perfect. If I can't, well, I'll just recreate it as close as possible. Next up from there, we have 5 Westinghouse House power levers. It took me forever to find the name of these things, and I don't remember if I actually came across them on the TARDIS builders or if I found them myself or a combination of both. The information's there now. But they are literally, those train track switchers that you see. They are smaller versions of that, probably used in either a larger house so that you had more finite control with an operator going through and seeing the entire track to go through the entire lever process, or from a model train group or person or parts or whatnot. So that's what those are. These things are amazing and so incredibly rare that I am going to custom make them. I did find a vendor in the UK that could actually make them out of metal for me, recreate them pretty much exactly, you see them here. But two things got in my way there. One is that they would be almost $200 or $300 a piece. But also that these ones are found, and you can totally tell that they're found parts. And if I'm going to go for it, I either have to go with the found part. I don't really like the idea about getting completely custom machined, especially at that cost. Brand new versions, getting it custom made out of some sort of other material. I know it kind of sounds like I'm saying I like a custom machine, just not a custom machine, but it's kind of true. But anyway, I'm gonna have to custom make these parts more than likely because of the scaling, but also because of the expense. But I'm hoping they make them still worth the same. If you're looking, there's some notches where you can pull them and slide them down, they lock in place. So anyway, probably one of the most interesting pieces there. Now, if we drop down one level here, you're gonna see something that took me a while to figure out too, but again, someone on the TARDIS Builders Forum came through and suggested what these are. And that is the pieces in the middle there look like quadrant faders. Now, quadrant faders were used a long time ago on soundboards, just like the new sliders that you see, just a little different. Now, these ones are two-sided, which isn't like the ones I've seen or even found online. But if you're looking here, you can kind of see they're close. If they're not quadrant faders, because there's a very good possibility that they're not, please let me know if you recognize them. But in the interim, that's what I'm going with. Again, a piece I'm going to have to custom make because very, very, very hard to find. On either side of the quadrant faders is a gauge with like a black border gauge with a black face. Now, I can't really tell if they're AC or DC or some sort of other gauge, but they're likely that, and trying to find the exact make is hard. So again, in this case, I'm going to just try and find an AC or DC gauge and then just replace the backing on that. And because of this is one part that's actually very difficult to scale down. So I'm trying to find that. Again, if I can, I will just get some 3D printed frames and recreate this part. The switches on them, again, regular rocker switches with an INO, should be fairly easy to replicate and have that in there. Not replicate, find and put that in there. So I'm looking forward to that. To the right of those are things I have no idea what they are. One of them kind of looks like, I think I've seen it before, where you pull it like a choke or something like a riding lawnmower or something. But then there's this little joysticky thing. I have no idea. It's got looks like some sort of antenna in a machine base. So again, no idea what that is. But if you recognize it, which you're going to hear me say in every single one of these videos, if you recognize it, let me know. Underneath that, though, is two kind of marble lights, which are kind of interesting. I can't tell if they're custom made or if they are found parts or found marbles. Hopefully anyone can shed some light on that. But underneath the lever is 5 lights. Now, these 5 lights are kind of frustrating, only because there's a whole bunch of them online. And if you look back here, I don't know how clear this is in my video, but there's a list of every single light on this console and how many there are. And you're talking like 2 blues, 2 reds, 2 oranges or ambers, a couple green ones, and 25 yellow lights. So again, that does include a couple that may or may not be what I'm hoping they are, but 25 yellow lights. So if you're looking here, there's 2 green, 2 amber, and 1 red. Now, as you're looking really close in this, you start getting picky, you start looking at things really close. And if you look at this, I'm going to show a picture here, hopefully demonstrating this. The red one has a flanged base, and the other ones have a thicker one with a diamond pattern collar. So again, what the heck is that? Why are these ones different? Why is the red ones this way? In another panel, I will be showing the red and the blue ones are actually both with a flange base, but the others all still have this other collar. So what are these? Are they pilot lights? Are they amp lights from guitars, whatnot? No idea. But I found some really close ones. Worst case scenario, I have some good leads of lights that will work, but I'm always of 2 minds when it comes to this stuff. Do I keep going until I find what exactly it is, or do I go with second best? If I go with second best, will I find what it actually is and then kick myself for being like, oh, I just spent $30 on all of these lights, and yet now I found the exact ones and they're twice as much, but they're accurate. So if anyone recognizes them, that'd be excellent. Otherwise, I'm just going to go with some pilot lights or at least some lenses that I have found through electronics distributors and whatnot. And there's a bunch of them, so hopefully I can find them and go from there. Now, to the right of that is a kill switch a standard switch with the cover. There's a couple different sizes you can get of this with the red flip, but it's probably fairly standard. So I'm going to use that. That was not a problem. That is like one of the biggest no-brainer parts of this entire console. Just grab that, there, done. Now in the center area below the quadrant fader area has 3 distinct areas, okay? So, but it's repeated 4 times. So each of them have like a combination slash dial or something, some sort of fader dial radio thing. No idea what it is. If you recognize it, that'd be handy. I have found some things that have been really close, and as soon as I found some things that were kind of really close, I don't remember what they were called, but then I found that basically identified another part on another panel because of what I thought they were. So in other words, not that. And again, these are vintage parts, so it's really frustrating because either they just found them like, oh, here's 4 of these dials, let's use them. And then you're like, great. But they don't. They may not even know the names. The people who put this together may not even know what they are. But I'm trying to find that out. Underneath that, though, again, 4 lights apiece. This is where the yellow lights come into, how many yellow lights there are. There are 4 yellow lights per section. So that is 16 yellow lights on this alone. And in the show, they all blink off and on. Underneath that, though, are, from what I can tell, soundboard dials. Just the standard ones that you see on a soundboard where you just turn things up or down, fade up and down, and everything like that. So there's a whole bunch of those, though, with a red top. This area is one I actually might, if I can't find the exact ones, I'm okay with taking second best of a different brand or whatever. So anyway, that's a big panel. That's a lot of information, and I know that. I have identified absolutely 0 parts of this thing, aside from finding out names. I mean, some of the parts I don't have to worry about, like the red cover switch. It's not a big deal. But yeah, it's a lot of parts. So I'm going to throw, and hopefully through the pictures you've seen here, you've really seen that as well. But if you recognize, or if I'm right about the pieces, let me know. If you have any questions, things you want to add, anything about this TARDIS console build, anything like that, just ask me in the comments below. Again, I know some of these videos are going to be a little bit long, but that's just the nature of the beast. I'll start breaking them down a little bit more as we get to the more complicated ones. But anyway, yeah, so I'm really excited about this. We're going to continue on here. I can't wait to start building. I know you guys will be much more excited when I get started to actually have a physical thing in this room that I'm working on, showing progress to be done. Anyway, thank you so much. If you want to click over here, you can subscribe. I'll have more videos and more Doctor Who videos upcoming as well in my main video series, but as they come for sure. So anyway, be sure to subscribe. You'll see some of those much shorter than this one, but the build diary will be going on. This might even be a year long as itself. So anyway, be sure to subscribe. But thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and thanks for watching.